Former top prospect Luis Campusano is finally living up to the hype, and Mike Clevinger looks to be in vintage form as of late. Join us today where we provide you with must-add players to win your fantasy baseball championship on today's action-packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Sports Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source of fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Dominic Martino. You can find me on Twitter at DomMartinoFB. Here, as always, with my brother, my co-host, my partner in crime, Matthew Arnay, and you can find him on Twitter at Matthew_Arnay. If you're listening on a platform like Apple or Spotify that allows 5-star ratings and reviews, we would truly appreciate it if you could do that for us. Also, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't already, hit that little bell below. It subscribes to the channel, also gives you a notification every time we drop a new episode. And lastly, but most importantly, join us on the Subtext website. Our Diamond Club is still popping off. This is the time of year, maybe you're going all the way till next week, the end of the season with your fantasy baseball league, and you need those right to the minute help. You get alerts right to your phone. Matt and I literally texting you back and forth, and you'll get everything you need, more than we can offer on this 30-minute podcast. And real quick, let me talk to you about one of today's sponsors. It's Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last-minute tickets and the lowest prices always guaranteed. Locked On Fantasy Baseball fans, we have a fully loaded episode for you today. And as always, let us be your team secret weapon, where we provide you with must-add players for this upcoming weekend to make sure you win that Locked On Fantasy Baseball championship. And Matt, we got a pretty good one up first, and I think I like all the names for today. But where are we starting, brother?
Let's start with Mr. Campusano over here. My guy having a nice week. 5 runs, 2 bombs, 8 ribs, batting about 346. It's funny. I really don't know too much about him outside of really just taking a look at him today. But I like what he's doing. He follows all my rules of, batting average off the waiver wire, home runs off the waiver wire, ribbies and runs. I mean, he's rocking and rolling here. I got his baseball reference page up here. He had a couple of shots in the bigs, in 2022, really didn't do much with it. Same thing in 21. The kid's only 24 years old, so it is what it is. But in 21, when he's in the minors, he had 326 plate appearances. What do you call it? 47 runs, 21 doubles, 3 triples, 15 bombs, 45 ribs. Walk to strikeout ratio was about almost 50%. Batted 295 that year. So, the kid does have solid minor league stats and whatnot. But, I just kind of want to see him do it. I like what he's doing now in terms of this week. I'm adding him if I can, if my catcher situation is ugly. If I have a Murphy and I held on to him for too long.
Get rid of Sean Murphy at this point.
Yeah.
I've heard other people talking about that and being like, just get rid of him, get somebody in the lineup.
Yeah, so you got to play the hot hand, and to get this kind of production out of your catcher position is something that's really desirable. So I 100% go and add Campusano at this point.
Yeah, Matt, strong take there. He was former very, very high-end prospect, Campusano, that is. 5'11", 232. So he's not super, super tall, but that weight, he's a stocky boy. He, if he really starts to find that power stroke, which, as Matt mentioned, 81 games in 2021, 15 homers. Same thing in the minors 2022, 81 games, 14 homers. So he really could be a 30 home run catcher if, he gets consistent playing time. I think the Padres are finally, starting to believe in him. As Matt mentioned, he's doing very, very good over the last couple of weeks. But you know what? Not really too much to add here. Just love that plate discipline from him. He's always been a good, eye at the plate. But pick Campusano up. He's 15% owned on Yahoo. Even if you just need a little backup catcher action, if you're in that 2-catcher league, I think he's probably still out there in a lot of 2-catcher leagues. So grab Campusano now. Let's talk about somebody we've been talking about. And honestly, out of all of the September call-ups, he's up there with the best of him, and it's Ronnie Mauricio of the New York Mets. Kid's just been absolutely stellar of late. They moved him up into that 2-hole in the lineup. Absolutely loved what he's shown. Let me get you the last 2 weeks on him because he's just been pretty damn solid. 2 runs, a homer, 6 RBIs, 4 steals, 262 batting average. Still only 26% owned from Mauricio. He's got second and shortstop now. I just think he's a great ad. Not that the Mets have been anything to write home about even of late, but you know what? The kid's stealing bases. The batting average is solid, and I think he's just going to continue to ride out. And I think the runs are going to get a lot better, too, with him hitting second in the lineup now consistently.
Yeah, no, Mauricio is solid. I actually scooped him up this week to try and take out Dom. So, somebody that you definitely need to add here. And also, too, a bonus, tomorrow's a giant off day for a lot of players, and Mauricio is playing tomorrow. Today for you guys. So if you have an instant ad league, add Mauricio if he's available because he is one of the few players playing tomorrow. So definitely take advantage of that. But let's move on. Let's talk about Ezekiel Tovar here. Tovar has had a nice little week. 5 runs, 8 ribs, a stolen base, batting 345. Can't get mad at the batting average. Clearly my rule. Batting average off the waiver wire. Stolen base potential is pretty high. I love Tovar for that. And he's getting on base and scoring. You can't really go wrong. Chris Bryant has been hot since being back. So, if Tovar can get on base, he could drive in Tovar and seriously run up that runs category for you and possibly drive in some runs for you as well. So definitely take a look at Tovar this week.
Yeah, Tovar's just been kind of up and down this year, but you kind of expect that with a 21-year-old player. I love his upside. I'm probably going to have him as like a sneaky late round pick for next year because I don't think he's going to go too high. Matt was talking about the power speed combo, but even the runs and RBI has been pretty solid in 542 at bats on a bad Rockies team, 76 runs, 72 RBIs. I really think the batting average has potential too. He was always pretty strong in the batting average department in his minor league career. So once again, that's just somebody I'm going to really be touting Tovar a lot next year, to be honest with you. Yeah, even in the minors in 2022, 319, 2021, 287. So, he has like a lot of upside there for Ezekiel Tovar. But let's sneak this last guy in here before we got to talk to you about some sponsors. Let's talk about Zack Gelof, just a guy that's been an absolute monster, honestly, since his call up. I love the 6'2", 205-pound frame. Strong, season so far. 58 games, 227 at bats, 34 runs, 19 doubles, a triple, 12 homers, 26 RBIs, 12 steals. Strikeout to walk ratio, not great in those points league. 22 walks, 67 strikeouts, but a 273 batting average. And for those that play in the OPS leagues, 865 OPS, which is solid as well. I just love the young Zack Gelof, and let's see where is that ownership percentage at for him. By the way, I don't think I mentioned it. Tovar is 41% owned. I think Gelof is right around the same, if I remember correctly from earlier when I was looking at this. 44% for Gelof, so right there. Somebody that you definitely need to get on your teams. At this point, I feel like you should be like 90% owned, for anyone out there still playing.
Yeah, for sure. I love Gelof. Gosh, I'm all over the place. But Gelof is honestly killing it since this whole year, like Dom said. And I love the fact that he's chipping in about 12 stolen bases on the year, which means that, he is going to contribute at least somewhat in 5 categories, maybe not blow you away in the stolen base category. But, if this kid can, get 20 steals on the year on a full season, because honestly, right now, he's only played about a quarter season way in comparison to everybody else, and the power's really showing out. This kid has a lot of upside for next year. Somebody, a name you want to write down now so that you don't forget about him next year, and he's going to probably be a draft day what do you call it? What do I want to say? Value, if not super discount, just based off of the fact. And before we go on, we talk about one more bat. And we talk about a whole bunch of pitchers that, we really like here. I got a sponsor we got to talk about here. Have you ever tried to buy tickets and see your favorite artists or sports team and wound up being stressed out by how much of a hassle it could be? Buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful at all. That's why you need to check out the Gametime app. Game Time is fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantees, you can stop stressing over tickets and start getting hyped for the event that's coming up. Use the Game Time app. It's super rewarding with flash deals and last-minute tickets. Easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. Images of the seats so you can see exactly what you're going to be sitting. Lowest prices guaranteed. Event cancellation protection, which is huge. I mean, there is a reason why it's the fastest growing ticket app in the country. Download Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Another one of my favorite sponsors. It's funny. I've been using Game Time for years. They are awesome, and they low key hit you great when you're trying to find and compare to Ticketmaster and SeatGeek and all that. They truly do blow them away, and even their fees are pretty low. Check out Game Time today. All right, and we're back. I know what Dom wanted you to take before we do. Actually, before I let Dom talk about somebody did this yesterday. To every day there's a new listeners. We have an incredible opportunity for you to help support the show and get some fantastic perks along the way. Introducing our Diamond Club on Subtext. By becoming a member, you not only contribute to the show's success, but you also gain access to exclusive benefits. Get your hands on waiver wire rankings, call-up alerts, injury updates, instant reactions, and direct access to us for all those burning fantasy baseball questions. Plus, you can try it out completely free for 14 days. Your support means the absolute world to us, and it truly does. And we can't wait to connect you on this exciting journey. Join Subtext today and become a member of that Diamond Club. And with only a few days left in this championship week, you're going to want to hit us up and get all your questions answered today. So join Subtext now. All right. Now that's a lockdown. Go for it.
Gotcha, brother. Let's move on to Baltimore Oriole. Surprisingly, it's not one of their prospects, but let's talk about Ryan O'Hearn. Mountcastle is officially down on the IL, probably not coming back this year with not much time left on the clock. But O'Hearn, breakout year. I mean, I don't believe in 29-year-old breakouts, but you know what? O'Hearn's been hitting for the last 2 weeks, and you know what? He's been batting cleanup. Last 2 weeks for O'Hearn, 10 runs, 3 homers, 9 RBIs, 366 batting average. He's eligible at first and outfield on Yahoo. And he's still only 22% owned, so that's a lot of leagues where O'Hearn is still out there. They get Cleveland in their, next series, which, they got a couple of arms, and Bieber's returning. So we'll see how that goes for them. But I think O'Hearn is a solid pickup right now. I truly don't think you could, do much wrong by picking him up. I honestly think he rides this out. Not somebody I'm going to believe in next year because, like I said, 29-year-old breakout, you really don't see those last too long. Does have a decent minor league track record. Once again, Ryan O'Hearn is who we're talking about, but not somebody I'm really buying into unless it's just the last couple of weeks here. I think you can pick him up and get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, we can see what happens. Quite honestly, Cleveland's rolling out their best arms for the weekend with, obviously Bieber, Williams, and whatnot. The only one that's really missing is Bybee. Unfortunately, that one just makes me sad, but still worth the shot to roll him out here. But let's switch gears. Let's talk about some pitching. Saw about Mr. Mike Clevinger, who's been pretty solid over the last couple of outings. Last 2 weeks he has 22 innings pitched, 2 wins, 21 Ks, 1.23 ERA, and a .68 WHIP. He gets Boston at Boston. It's a pretty decent matchup. I'm not gonna lie. I just don't know how much I'm willing to trust Clevinger going into my weekend, being that he is pitching on the 24th, which will be Sunday. So the only way I'm really going to roll him out is if I really am desperate and I'm in the battle for either ERA or Ks. And, I could risk it to get the biscuit, but this is one of those ones that could possibly come back and bite you in the butt. So being that it's Sunday, it will be a Sunday call. So just keep an eye on Clevinger. Even add him to then prevent the other person to then use him against you. That is another strategy you could do. I am not a a proud man. I do that all the time. You know, if I don't want somebody to be used against me, I will add them and then drop them on Saturday morning just so I know waivers won't pass till Monday and the season's over. So 100%, you know, pick them up either to play keep away or to use them if you're desperate on Sunday.
Yeah, Matt. Just to vibe off what you said, it's never a bad idea to do that. But sometimes when you do that, it doesn't work out. Like when you pick up Lucas Giolito, and you don't like Lucas Giolito to begin with anyway, but you just want to make sure that he's not used against you, and he has a 7-inning, 12 strikeout game. So you kind of get that faith back in him a little bit, but then it blows back up in your face when the Kansas City Royals of all teams decide they're going to beat up on him. But that's a sidebar. That's more of a personal issue that I have to deal with. Let's get into Mike Clevinger here, though. Let's talk about it. I would use Mike Clevinger. The Red Sox are 2-8 over their last 10, so they haven't really been getting the job done. Out of Clevinger's last 10 starts, 7 of those have been very, very good starts, including 4 out of the last 5. So I'm riding Clevinger out. I mean, if your ratios and your everything else looks good and you don't have to, you don't need to risk it. But for most teams, I think you can put Clevinger out there on Sunday, and I think he's going to get the job done. Let's keep things moving. Let's talk about a young gun that you guys might not have heard of. I'm not super familiar with him, but it's Sawyer Gibson-Long, starting pitcher for the Detroit Tigers. He's 6'4", 225. He does not have a great minor league track record. I'm going to be honest with you. It's very lackluster, but you know what? His first 2 starts in the majors have been very good. Across the 2 starts, 10 innings, only 6 hits, only 3 earned runs, 16 strikeouts with an 0.9 whip, and he gets Oakland on the 22nd. The stuff is okay. I mean, like I said, I haven't really seen him pitch yet. I haven't really watched any of his games, but, he doesn't throw the ball super hard. He tops out around 96, I believe. He averages 94 on the fastball. He does throw 4 pitches a lot. Apparently, he throws a slider for the most at 32%, throws a changeup. He throws a sinker. So just somebody that, if you need to start or, as Matt mentioned, if you want to play keep away, you could do that. I really love the matchup. Everyone's been beating up on Oakland. So I think you could throw Sawyer Gibson-Long out there and kind of just see what happens.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's an interesting start. I don't know if I'm doing it, but we shall see. Great take, Dom. I'm going to move on since I'm
also,
not.
real quick, he did have 11 strikeouts in his last start. I forgot to mention that. 5 innings, 11 strikeouts against the Angels.
Yeah, no, it's a solid one. But let's move on. Let's move on to Kyle Hendricks, Dom's boy here.
Yes, sir.
So here's the thing: if you look at on Yahoo, they have him starting, today for you guys, and also the 22nd, which would be tomorrow for you guys. He's starting today for you against Pittsburgh. Yahoo's just being stupid. 45% owned. If you can add him while you're listening to this podcast, I would. Pitt is a great start. Nobody's really there. Nobody's really playing well. So you could probably sneak one past the goalie and he'd be very successful for you. So 100% I'm adding Kyle Hendricks just based off of that alone. It's not like he's been wonderful with a 4.09 ERA over the last 2 weeks, but over the last month, a 3.54 ERA with just right under a K per 9. But we all know Kyle Hendricks has the potential to do K per 9 and then some. So honestly, against Pittsburgh, I'm willing to roll him out there 100%.
Yeah, before I hop in here and give my take on Kyle Hendricks, and then we got a couple of closers, and then we might kind of after that just, talk about, what you want to do into this upcoming weekend to secure that fantasy baseball championship. I do have a sponsor for you guys. And I'm here to talk to you guys about FanDuel. Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. That is a fantastic deal. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and you can bet on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season with an offer you don't want to miss. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL. All right, guys, we are back here. And I just want to talk to you guys about Kyle Hendricks. I think he's lined up for Colorado on the 22nd. I could be wrong. I do see what Matt's talking about here.
You are wrong. I checked on the Cubs. I checked on
Yeah?
ESPN.
Okay, so they have
it.
him for tomorrow.
Yes, and then
Okay, well, today, as you guys are, as everyone's listening to this, I wasn't super sure about that. I was seeing it both ways, and on Yahoo they did have written, not in the probable, they did write that he was probably going to start against the Cubs, but they might have moved things around. So if you can make those same day pickups and you want to add Kyle Hendricks, Pittsburgh is a great matchup right now. And I think it's a fantastic pickup. We all know Kyle Hendricks. He's been very, very good of late. You can sneak him in there, and he's still very, very low percent owned for how good he's been this year. 45% rostered. The ERA is a little bit high, at a 3.77, but the WHIP is good at a 1.17. K's not really his forte, but he mixes a couple in every now and then. I think you can get him out there against Pittsburgh, and it's going to be a pretty good matchup. Actually, last time he pitched against Pittsburgh, 5.2 innings, 4 strikeouts, gave up a couple of runs, 1.24 WHIP. So he was pretty solid last time against them. Let's move into a couple of closers real quick. Let's talk about Jose Leclerc first. He's been closing of late for, one of the better teams in baseball. That is the Texas Rangers. And like I said, I really think you could just throw him out there and get a couple of saves down the stretch, as he's been. I think he's got the last 3 saves for them, if I do remember correctly. Let me double check myself here. Yeah, he does. And he got a save as recently as the 19th. He's only 19% rostered. Solid year for Leclerc, 2.98 ERA, 1.21 WHIP, 51 innings, 58 Ks. If you need a save going into the weekend, they play Seattle, so those games are probably going to be close. I think you could pick him up and possibly snag a save over the weekend with him.
Yeah, for sure. It's hard to come by with saves. And if your opponent has a bunch of closers and yours are subpar, or if you're going into the weekend and you have limited starts and you want to lower that ERA, it's not bad to add not just 1, but 2 if you have the ads available. So if there's no pitching out on the waiver wire, load up on closers. Just smoke them away in the saves category, and they'll also help bring down that ERA. It's another strategy you could do to kind of manipulate the weekend. Like I said, I'm not a proud man. During championship week, I will fight, claw, bite, scratch your eyes out. I don't care.
That's how you got to do it.
I'm taking home the championship. So you got to do what you got to do. So if you need to add 7 closers, do it. I don't care. Just, whatever you want to do. But yeah, let's move on. Let's move on to this other closer here. And that's Trevor May. Another guy, obviously Oakland Athletics, closer. But at the same time, he didn't get a single attempt, not even get rolled out last week. I actually dropped him this week. But, I mean, he's been really good when he gets the opportunity. He gets the job done. He doesn't blow it away.
Oakland's 7 straight. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. But, they haven't even been in a position for him to even come out. That's the funniest part. So, I'm sure he's, clawing at the bit to get out there. So if May gets out there, he's going to walk away with the close as long as, somehow the A's put him in a position to get there. They're not going to score on him. May is very good. If May were to go to another team, I'd be very excited and he'd probably fly up my rankings because I think he is a really good closer in my opinion. Or it just could be the low exposure rate, but you never know. But you look at his matchups too, and
Detroit's up next. That's why I like it.
Right, and Detroit is another one that's in a bad situation that these games could be close and they could suppress each other and make it probably roll out there and get the job done for you over the weekend. And if he walks away one save, boom, you're gold. But he might get 2. Because he'll probably go one night, which will be today for you, and then probably get the break and then go back out there, or they might just roll him out 2 days in a row, especially since he took a whole week off and pretty much just spent the time drinking beer. So, Trevor May is somebody that I feel you should add just based off of 1, the save potential, and 2, again, don't be a proud person at this point. Don't look at me like I have 7 heads. Just, do what you need to do and scratch and claw, gouge that person's eye out. I don't care. Just win the championship.
Yeah, Matt. Great take there. Just a quick small update. The update did just cross my page. They officially announced that Dominguez did get Tommy John. He didn't get the brace in there. So that's going to cost him probably most of next year. I don't really see the Yankees risking it and letting him play next year.
I don't know about most of next year. Probably. I mean, Harper came back in 3 months and he got it done after the World Series.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
and he does not have to pitch. They could run him out of DH. And even if they wait for him to be able to throw the ball, I mean, July.
yeah, I mean, I could see it. I don't. Bryce Harper was a different story. That man's a freak of nature, and the Phillies wanted him back in that lineup like as soon as they could get him in there. I don't know how good the Yankees are going to be next year, so I kind of just say, hey, let it, let the kid rest. I mean, that's what I would anyway. Let him get fully healthy. The kid's still young. You don't need to force it and rush him back out there. Just let him get his time. But as far as Trevor May goes. Last 30 days, 9 innings pitched, a win, 7 saves, 8 strikeouts, no earned runs, and an 0.96 whip. Yeah, you could pick Trevor May up for this weekend. I actually like him better than Leclerc, 49% owned for Trevor May. But that's all I really got to say. Matt covered him very, very well. Before we head out, Matt, you really hit the nail on the head. Great takes from you tonight. Do anything it takes to win. Identify categories where you're close enough to strike, and those are the ones you're going to want to capitalize on. If you're down 5 steals, put your power guys in because you're probably closer in power. Don't try and catch up in steals. If you're getting killed in ratios, get wins, get strikeouts. Go for the other categories that you may still have a chance in. Matt, go ahead. Chime in, my brother.
I got a sneaky steals guy for the weekend.
Yeah, go for it.
Johan Rojas from the Phillies. Honestly, a kid could steal. He's putting the bat to the ball. Good average. Won't kill you either. And he's somebody that I added because he's also playing today for you guys. So if you have same day ads, add him. But also, too, I mean, he could steal bases like crazy. They usually pinch run him a lot, too, to put him in that position if they're in, a tight game and they want to get the go-ahead run. So what they'll normally do is either pinch run him or he's good for a single, gets on base, puts himself in then a scoring position, then he gets driven in. So quite honestly, they use him a lot. He's like a Swiss Army knife that gets weird opportunities. So Rojas is somebody that, honestly, I would say go out and consider adding, especially just for today for you guys on that giant off day.
Yeah, Matt, great take there on Rojas. He's been very, very good this year. 301 batting average, 18 runs, 2 homers, 21 RBIs, and 12 steals. And as I mentioned, he's hitting 9th, so he's getting drove in a lot. And, he's got 4 steals since September 12th. So it's been pretty, hot couple of weeks here for Rojas. But Matt, unless you got anything else, I think we're going to hit the road for tonight.
Yeah, we're chilling, man. Go for it.
Yeah, guys, that's all for us today. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review. Also, shout out to our everydayers and new listeners for making Locked On Fantasy Baseball your first listen each and every day. We'll be back tomorrow with a great episode. Not 100% sure what we're talking about yet, but you want to stay locked on to get that championship. So, guys, until tomorrow, see you.
Peace.